So I got word this morning that we are expecting a record-breaking storm over the next couple of days. It's going to be record low pressure and high winds, and the tides aren't so bad, but when the pressure's low, a high tide that is maybe most of the time okay could be floodworthy. And the house here has flooded a few times over the last handful of years, but at this time every year, typically a big storm starts to roll in, or just in general we get lower pressure and there's opportunity for flooding. And last year it got pretty close a few times. And well, now it's time to deal with it again. And I figured I would bring you along with me while I prepared. This morning when I woke up, it was kind of calm and normal. It was a nice morning actually. The water was pretty still. But as the day has gone on, the wind is picking up, the rain is coming down a lot harder, and it's showing that it's starting to become a storm. We'll probably end up losing power at some point. I don't know if that will be today or tomorrow or even the next day. We are prepared. My girlfriend is going in to get a little bit more water. A lot of the food we have right now needs to be cooked or just in the fridge. We do have camping supplies, but when it's really high winds, it's not always the best to cook outside and with rain. So just getting some little last things to stock up and make sure we'll be good for the storm. But right now my main concern is the flooding and the potential for it, and so I need to sandbag the house. I already went around earlier this week and did the vents and little things that only require a little bit of sandbagging, but I need to go in front of all of the doors today, and it's a lot of work, it's heavy work, and I chose to wait till the last second till storming, which probably was not the brightest. We'll see how that goes, but it'll be kind of a exciting day.
Alrighty, miss.
So first things first, I need to get this door all boarded up, and then I will have to worry about the kitchen door. Hazel is not pleased that she can't be a part of this, but it's okay. She's just slowly started collecting my clothes into the living room, building a nest, so it's all good. Oh, and I need to make sure to close off that barrier right there as well. Maybe let's start there. I forgot how heavy these are. And now my feet are freezing, so I think I actually need to put on some boots. Oh, that's soaking wet. Oh well. I don't know how, but I managed to forget how heavy these sandbags are. I got the one little door done and I'm already tired, but it's okay. It's a process. I'm really hopeful that it won't end up flooding, because that would be really a lot to try to deal with, especially after all that's been going on, but I will get into those things a little later. For now, it's best to worry about the sea. Okay, so during the summertime we keep all of the sandbags stacked up out here. You can maybe even see right over there where they've set up the barrier to the water by the boat ramp, which also is stored up front here before they put it up. And so now I just have to take the very short but also seemingly exceptionally long trek from here to the doors. So now I need to go find a plastic barrier to put in between the wood and the doors. I know one of my boards fell over, but let's just ignore that. It's okay. I think I'm just going to end up cutting up half a trash bag or something. We usually have plastic, but I cannot find it anywhere. So gonna be resourceful here and just set up that one extra line of protection. Okay, so I found these big plastic trash bags, which are ugly and terrible, but I think I may wrap the boards with them. If you'll remember last year, I had a lot of trouble getting the other plastic to stay. So if the boards fit in this, I'm kind of hopeful that that will be better and it'll provide that barrier, and then they just won't be flying everywhere in the wind, which would be super useful. That's working beautifully. Beautiful. Now just to get all the sandbags up there. Okay, so I got the first layer of sandbags done on this side. I still need to do one more, but I did discover that it takes 6 to just cover the bottom, so I at least know how to ration them better at this point, because I could not remember the amount I needed last year and I just kind of guessed and had to move things around a lot. But the trash bags worked really well. I'm very happy with them. I'm going to remember that for next time, just because last year it was so difficult to get the plastic to stay right, and it ended up falling partway through the season and I had to fix it a few times. So this is a much better option and I'm very happy with it. But my goodness, are things starting to pick up. I'll show you the water. Actually, I'll show you the water now. Luckily it's not all that high yet, but it's definitely getting pretty choppy and the wind keeps picking up on and off, so it could be quite an adventure soon. Though I think it'll be a little bit more freaky this evening and tomorrow. That's at least when it's supposed to pick up a lot, so all just for preparation. I just pulled off the top sandbag here, and there's all these little clear eggs. I don't really know whose they are, but they're really interesting. And there's a snail. And this side is done. Now onto the kitchen. All of this is probably going to be shot from afar because currently I have you under a roof, and well, as you can see and as you can maybe hear, it is pouring rain. So sorry for all the far away shots. Okay, so the boards are all set up and they're wrapped in plastic, so that's good. And my girlfriend was very nice and brought over 12 sandbags to block that door right when she got back from the grocery store. So just gonna finish this up and then go inside. And she's currently setting up the front door very kindly. And at last it is done. It's time to go take a little bit of a break and well, then get started on something new. So the sandbags are up, the house is cozy, and I've had a minute just to kind of cool off from doing all of that, or rather warm up, I think would maybe be the better way to put it. And I think it is time to move on to some of the other things that I need to get done with this house. If you caught my last video on my other channel, which I will link up above and down below for those of you curious if you haven't seen it, we have had some interesting times in this house with a bit of a spooky story in a table, and well, I know it is the perfect time of year for that. I've had to remind myself that there are reasons for cliches. And so things have been a lot better, for any of you wondering, since that video went up. Life has been good here. The house has felt really good since we took care of everything, and I'm really just still in the process of cleansing and protecting and just working on making the space right again. But based on the recommendation of my grandma, she said I should bake something with oranges in it because it sounded right to her and it will help fill the space with happiness and good things. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Now, I haven't made a lot of things with oranges. I think I'm going to try to make an orange cake similar to a lemon loaf or something, but just use oranges instead and maybe mix the recipe up a little differently. I found one online, so I don't really know how it'll go, and I may end up putting my own spin on it here or there, or just test it out again later in the future. But it feels like a good way to close out this day is just to bake something good and have some peace and happiness. Also, for the interim, I've pulled my desk in here as my working table. As you can see, it's a little bit lower than I would like to work, but it'll do for the time being. I've already had to start with a substitution that I'm not super sure about, but we'll see how it goes, and I believe it'll still probably be fairly delicious in the end. I think I'm actually going to shift operations over here because it is getting very bright and sunny all of a sudden. The storm has finally calmed down. It actually has turned back into a beautiful day beyond having some choppy water still remaining, but I much prefer being in the shadows when filming. For whatever reason, I think it just is a little prettier. Alrighty, so while that is in the oven, I figured I'd just sit down for a minute and chat. The weather has gotten a lot better. It's calmed down significantly. It's no longer crazy rainy and windy. It's still a little bit windy, but not bad, not like it was before. And the water isn't quite as choppy anymore. It's still a little bit wavy and such, but it's not so bad. Definitely seen worse. But like I said earlier, the bigger issue is the barometric pressure, which is pretty low right now, and that just causes the water to rise significantly. And at the moment, I think we're approaching high tide and it's not so bad, but the issue is probably going to come more tomorrow for the potential of flooding, and even maybe overnight because I think the winds are supposed to pick up. So while it looks nice right now, it's kind of deceptive, and this is what I ran into last year. The days that were the scariest were the nicest, and it doesn't always seem to make sense, at least to what I'm used to. I'm used to floods and storms and things being very blatantly obvious, but here it's the calm days that are bad sometimes. But it's all very exciting and it keeps me on my toes. Because of all the craziness that happened last week, today is the day I would normally like to get a video out to you all, so I think I'm probably going to end up closing this one out fairly soon. and you'll have to wait till next week to hear about the excitement, and I'll probably do some updates on my Instagram as well, especially if anything floods, because that will change a lot of plans. But I'm hopeful that it won't and that things will be okay. At the very least, I'm really glad that I got everything all sandbagged and ready. It feels good to be prepared, even though it's a little bit obnoxious to always have to step over the barriers now for the rest of the winter, but it's the peace of mind that matters the most. So with that and the cake coming out of the oven soon, I guess I will be saying goodbye for now, and I'll see you soon with an update on how everything has been going.